Ronnie, a lot of the sort of expectation is still on your shoulders, isn't it, as the sort of figurehead for the sport, and people do often expect you to perform.
Yeah.
Is that a burden, or is it just something after all these years you just have to accept?
I don't really mind it, to be honest with you. Like I said, I put pretty hard on myself, you know. If I want to play well, and obviously there is a certain amount of pressure, you know, but I don't mind it. You know, I pretty much had that all my career, even as a junior and an amateur. I think you learn to handle that situation and just try and play, you know, how you play naturally, as if you're down the club practicing. I think I've always done that, so it's never really bothered me, you know.
Do you ever feel that you sort of intimidate players, even top players? Do you sense that just the fact they're playing you sort of puts them on edge?
I can only liken it to when I used to play Stephen Hendry when I was a kid, or I played Steve Davis, and you know, yeah, I was intimidated by them. You know, the way Davis strutted around the table, you know, the way he played, the safety shots, the break building. Hendry the same, you know, he'd pop balls, and you think, you know, they played with such confidence, and I think, yeah, so I can only reverse it and just kind of go, well, you know, that's what it's like playing any top player, you know, even if you're playing Judd or you're playing Selby or you're playing Robertson, you know, they all have their own sort of strut and their own confidence that they bring to the table. It's not easy, you know, to beat top players, you know, it's...
But is there ever a time in a match where you think, even maybe early on, I might have got this guy already?
No, never, no, the game's too fickle for that, you know. If you don't play well, I don't think anyone... You know, I think most players now would sense if you're not playing well, and would sort of have the temperament in the to be able to hold it together and put you away. You know, maybe years ago, 15, 20 years ago, I might have got away with it, might have done. I don't think these days. I think a lot of the players are just very well drilled, and they're really good QS. You know, they all hit the ball very well. They all score pretty well. You've got to be on your game now to beat a lot of these players, you know.
ceremonies for this inaugural event. And we are here for the final round of the last 32 of the competition. How's everybody doing tonight? Are you all right? Make some noise, let me hear you. Oh. We can do better than that, Riyadh. We can do much better than that. I need you to be loud and proud. Are you ready for the snooker tonight? Make some noise, let me hear you, Riyadh. Yes! Excellent. We have a wonderful lineup for you here in Riyadh this evening. Of course, though, here on the TV table, we have an interesting matchup. We have one of the players, the only player, who has survived since day one of the competition, taking on one of the greatest players of all time. Lepe Fan takes on Ronnie O'Sullivan. I'm going to ask you now who you're supporting this evening. Make some noise if you're supporting Lepe Fan. Yes, some love for Lee. We like that. Now make some noise if you're supporting the Rockets. Ronnie O'Sullivan, let me hear you. Okay, that's what we've come to see today. Well, look, we'll be going live very shortly all around the world. I'll be doing my introductions very shortly too. If you can, please make sure your phones are on silent or off as well, if you can. And if you keep your movement to a minimum, that would be excellent. So if there's a break in play, going to be live on TV, so I need you guys to go crazy. Saudi Arabia Snooker Masters. That's it. That's what we want to see. Right. You know what? To help me decide,
This is my AI avatar that looks like me, talks like me, and gestures like me. And I made this in only 10 minutes using this tool called HeyGen. And in this video, I'm going to teach you how to
144 players have all travelled from around the world to be here in the Kingdom to battle it out for snooker's 4th major.
All the players are excited to be here. We want to compete, we want to do well. So hopefully you'll see some of the best snooker that you'll probably ever see.
Coming here as the world champion, obviously a bit of expectation on my shoulders this week. Looking forward to getting started.
Well, they're classing as the 4th major, so it'll be nice to get that name on the trophy for the first time.
This tournament is taking snooker up a notch.
Prize fund available this week, similar to the World Championships. You know, it's a chance for someone to change their life.
And this probably, at the moment, is gone to probably the best tournament that we play in.
Welcome back to Riyadh and to the Saudi Arabia Snooker Masters for the second half in what is the biggest day in multi-table snooker history. All of the world's top 16 will do battle on the bays. 8 will go this evening, 8 have already gone this afternoon, and incredibly, 5 of those have already fallen.
Super Tuesday began with the main match arena featuring a fierce fight back. When Wu Yizhe raced into a 4-0 lead over Judd Trump, the world number 1 appeared destined for immediate departure. Instead, what a radical difference the interval made. Wu scored only 35 points in the closing 5 frames, as Trump fired in a succession of sizable breaks to transform impending defeat into incredible victory. As for the headline, anything Wu can do, Trump can do slightly better.
Unbelievable work from Phil Yates, by the way, but the upshot of what was an unforgettable afternoon is that 5 of the seeds have fallen. But in terms of the man who've gone through, we have Zhao Guodong, Neil Robertson, Sean Murphy, Elliot Slesser, Gary Wilson, Jack Lisowski and Scott Donaldson. And as for Mark Allen, the tournament's loss is our gain, as the hunt will continue to find out who gets that trophy. I'm delighted to be joined by him now, as well as Stephen Holworth. And Mark, just to kick things off, what a T-shirt you're wearing, by the way, sir.
You have to promote the event. This is more I'll promote it here because I didn't do much on the team.
How was the tournament for you?
Very disappointing. I didn't perform at all today. Zhao played very well, but I made it easy for him. I missed too many balls.
Stephen, it's something that we spoke about throughout this tournament, the pressure of being a seed, coming in, no points if you lose, big points if you win, and we kind of saw that for a number of seeds.
Yeah, and you know, it kind of wasn't a surprise really, possibly down to the fact that they're shorter matches, maybe down to the fact that the guys coming into this round have already played a couple of matches, but probably down to the fact that, you know, the players are so good on the tour these days. The strength in depth on the tour is so high, even the seeded players, they're all at risk.
Well, that was this afternoon. And in terms of this evening, we have 8 fantastic, mouth-watering head-to-heads. Mark, for myself, it's Bingham, Dingjan week. Can't wait for that one. Any favourites for yourself?
Well, obviously, we've got the main man on table 1, but I think the standout tie of the round is Mark Williams against Tepchai Nu. That's going to be quick. It's going to be free-flowing. I expect a lot of breaks, and that's one for the neutral, just to sit back and enjoy.
Absolutely. The lightning left-handers. What about yourself, Stephen?
Yeah, I would agree with what Mark just said. Bingham and Ding is also a massive tie coming up. There's also something you want to keep your eye on out on table 8. The Wizard of Wishaw, John Higgins, he is on 998 centuries, so a big milestone coming up for him, potentially tonight. He's in a race to beat Judd Trump, the world number 1, to that milestone. So yeah, table 8 for me, keep an eye on it.
There could be even more history, but as in terms of Mark alluded to it there, what's coming up on our table, the TV table, table number 1. It is the Rocket Ronnie O'Sullivan who begins the inaugural Saudi Arabia Snooker Masters venture, and he takes on Lee Pei Fan, the only man to have gone from round 1 all the way up to round number 5, just 20 years old. But in terms of El Roquito, here's what he said ahead of this one.
Ronnie, a lot of the sort of expectation is still on your shoulders, isn't it, as the sort of figurehead for the sport? And people do often expect you to perform. Yeah. Is that a burden, or is it just something after all these years you just have to accept?
I don't really mind it, to be honest. I sort of, like I said, I put pretty hard on myself, you know. If I want to play well, and obviously there is a certain amount of pressure, you know. But I don't mind it, you know. I pretty much had that all my career, even as a junior and an amateur. I think you learn to handle that situation and just try and play, you know, how you play naturally, as if you're down the club practicing. I think I've always done that, so it's never really bothered me, you know.
Do you ever feel that you sort of intimidate players, even top players? Do you sense that just the fact they're playing you sort of puts them on edge?
I can only liken it to when I used to play Stephen Hendry when I was a kid, or I played Steve Davis, and you know, yeah, I was intimidated by them. You know, the way Davis strutted around the table, you know, the way he played, the safety shots, the break building. Hendry the same, you know, pop balls, and you think, you know, they played with such confidence, and I think, yeah, so I can only reverse it and just kind of go, well, you know, that's what it's like playing any top player, you know, even if you're playing Judd or you're playing Selby or you're playing Robertson, you know, they all have their own sort of strut and their own confidence that they bring to the table. It's not easy, you know, to beat top players, you know, it's...
But is there ever a time in a match where you think, even maybe early on, I might have got this guy already?
No, never, no, the game's too fickle for that, you know. If you don't play well, I don't think anyone... You know, I think most players now would sense if you're not playing well, and would sort of have the temperament in the to be able to hold it together and put you away. You know, maybe years ago, 15, 20 years ago, I might have got away with it, might have done. But I don't think these days. I think a lot of the players are just very well drilled, and they're really good QiS. You know, they all hit the ball very well. They all score pretty well. You've got to be on your game now to beat a lot of these players, you know.
It's always great to hear words from the greatest of all time, Ronnie O'Sullivan. But in terms of the challenge that Lee Pei-Fan faces, Ronnie is very at home on the TV table. For Lee, something less so. As a player, what difference does it make? Do you feel it out there compared to the outside tables?
Yeah, the game's the same, but it doesn't feel like it is. No, it's different surroundings there, brighter lights, a bit warmer, a bit more people in the crowd as well, regardless of the fact that he's actually playing Ronnie O'Sullivan. It takes time to adapt to that TV table, but like Ronnie said in that interview, these young guys are so well drilled, they're so confident in their ability. It'd be interesting to see how Lee Pei-Fan sort of stands up to Ronnie tonight.
And the interesting thing, as we said at the start of afternoon session, the short formats means that guys don't have a long time to recover if they do go 2-3, or as Judd actually proved the opposite, 4 down.
Yeah, the start is going to be key, obviously, for Lee Pei-Fan. He's had a difficult start to the season. He lost 3 of his qualifiers. So coming here, it's almost a bit of a shock to see how well he's done. But again, it goes back to the point I made. It isn't really a surprise, is it? Because there's so much strength and depth in the tour. But obviously, this is a different kettle of fish. He's playing Ronnie O'Sullivan in one of the biggest events we've ever had. You know, it's going to be some performance if he's going to turn him over today.
One of the biggest events we've ever had. One of the biggest days we've ever had in terms of multi-table snooker. So without further ado, let's get the boys out on the bays and hand to Tahir.
مرحبا بكم في المملكة العربية السعودية. Welcome to day 5 here in Riyadh for the Saudi Arabia Snooker Masters. We had an eventful afternoon, and if anything is evident, you've got to bring your game, not your name, to this tournament. It's time to find out how our final 8 matches this evening will go. So it's time to welcome our players into the arena. Up first on table number 8, please welcome Jimmy Robertson and the Wizard of Wishaw, John Higgins. since day one, the 101st seed. We wish him all the best. Please welcome Lepe Fan.
Ourselves comfortable for a fantastic evening of snooker ahead by handing to our commentary team of Ken Doherty. But first, Phil Yates.
Yes, what an extraordinary evening it is when you think John Higgins is out there on table 8. Mark Williams, another member of the class of 1992, he's on table 6.
The first frame. Ronnie O'Sullivan to break.
But the class of valedictorian, Ronnie O'Sullivan, of course, is centre stage. Ken, there's always a special atmosphere when Ronnie's involved.
Yes, absolutely, Phil. And great crowd in tonight as well to see him. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how he's going to play. Said he might play quite a lot of shots left-handed. And I must say, Lepe Fan, what a performance so far. To, you know, he started in round 1, he's in round 5 now. And of course, he's probably playing a man that he's watched for many, many years and looked up to, as most of the Chinese boys have. What a big night for him. First mistake from Ronnie O'Sullivan.
They had first chance. It is wasted.
One. Free. Four.
They've only met on one previous occasion. O'Sullivan won 4-2. It was the last 64 of the Northern Ireland Open 5 years ago. Good quality match, actually. O'Sullivan made breaks of 101, 95, 84, 57. Lepe Fan contributed with a century of his own. In fact, the youngster held O'Sullivan to 2-2.
19. 20.
Perfect situation here for Ronnie O'Sullivan. Still 4 reds available.
27. 28.
Yeah, a little shake of the head. He didn't really want to use the
35.
extension and the extended rest, but that's what he's going to have to. Needed that cue ball closer, a little bit to the cushion that he wouldn't have to use and stretch for this. And that was the problem. He couldn't get close to the black, so
36.
may have to play the cue ball off the side cushion. Played it nicely and back in prime position.
Yes, particularly early on before the cue arm was warmed up. That was a really good black.
44.
Last of the loose reds. And imperative
52.
that he gets a nice angle on the black, which he has done. So he's got to screw into that red directly above the black, you would feel. A little bit of pace. There's the pace. Now, how's your form? I think he's been a bit unlucky,
59.
unless there's a possibility of a plant into this left corner pocket, but how's he going to play this plant? It's a bit risky. May play the double. Double it is.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 59.
Ronnie O'Sullivan's here, so a big crowd's here also. That applies the world over. The last time Lepe Fan played O'Sullivan, he was only 16 years of age. Still only 21.
Yeah, a little bit pacey with the cue ball. He has a couple of options here, Lepe Fan. The more difficult red would be into this that's closest to the bottom right corner pocket. He'd be a brave man to take that on. If he missed it, it would be the end of frame, but if he gets it, well, it would give him a chance. He went for it, wasn't far away, but I think he's left this red into the left center. If not, certainly the red into the left corner.
One.
Two reds missed by Lay. Twice he's plonked O'Sullivan right in amongst the balls. If that continues, it could be a short evening.
Eight.
At first glance, Ronnie looks like he's cueing very nicely. Spent over 3 hours on the practice table yesterday. Another good couple this afternoon. So definitely putting the work in. 75
16.
ahead, just a little bit disappointed with that positional shot, but still already his opponent needs snookers. Red safely
17.
away. Will stop Lepe Fan coming back to the table. It's a good start from Ronnie O'Sullivan.
And when you're a seasoned watcher of O'Sullivan, you can
21.
tell after a very small amount of shots what to expect. Okay, he missed that red, but I think he looks pretty sharp.
21 in the first frame.
He wins the frame. to 0. Half-century break included. Ronnie O'Sullivan off to a flyer. Welcome back to Riyadh and welcome back to the Saudi Arabia Snooker Masters, which tonight has been electrified by the arrival of a certain Ronnie O'Sullivan. Lepe Fan has the task of trying to ground the rocket. Didn't work out in the first frame. He made no impact whatsoever. He brings smiles to faces, doesn't he? And you're right, Ken, he's playing quite a few shots left-handed. Always tends to break off left-handed.
Ronnie O'Sullivan 1.
Now that was a loose one.
One.
Lepe Fan already is guaranteed his highest ever payday in professional snooker.
3.
But of course he's not satisfied.
4.
Well, that was nicely cued.
11.
He's got a good chance. He's got a good chance here. He could play for the loose red, but if he's got an angle on the black, he could go into the bunch and still hold for that red. Well, decided just to play for it.
19.
But there may not be another loose red available, so he's going to need an angle on his next colour.
20.
Has he got enough angle just to force into the pack there and try and develop something? Yeah, it was a good attempt, but just go back to that previous shot where he had the same sort of angle on the black. Could have gone into the back of the pack and still have been on that loose red. But that could be end of break. And just a good safety shot required now.
This tournament started on Friday,
27.
and Lei Pei Fan is the last player standing who took part in the first round. He beat Baiyu Liu, the reigning women's world champion, 4-2 in his opening contest from 2-0 down. Then it was a couple of deciding frame finishes against Jamie Clark and Robbie Williams. 4-3 wins in both of those. And then his best result yesterday, he beat Joe O'Connor 5-2. That's why he's got his biggest ever payday. Previously, it was £15,000 for reaching the final qualifying round of the World Championship a couple of years ago. But what a massive obstacle to clear here in the form of Ronnie O'Sullivan.
Well, that was a really good effort. It got very close. Rattled a few times. Yeah, hadn't left the red for a pot. Sullivan trying to get that cue ball tight to the ball cushion. Maybe worth, that's why he's coming down this end of the table, it may be worth having a go at this red into the left corner. Could get nicely on the black, and the reason he came down this end of the table was that would he leave anything potable? I don't think so. Maybe only the red that he's going for. So it's worth having a go at this. If he gets it, he'll be on the black.
Well, Ken, for the second time in the frame, a loose safety.
Yeah, you don't normally say that for Ronnie O'Sullivan. I mean, he's such an astute safety player as well as all his other credentials. But that was a loose one. Chance for Lee. Oh, that was a long way away, and that, well, it could be very, very costly indeed.
As they say, how do you like these apples?
One.
So Ronnie likes them very nicely indeed. Well, he's played that left-handed, but he hasn't played it very well. I'm not quite sure what the reason is. He said he was going to play a bit more left-handed, but that was a poor shot from Ronnie O'Sullivan.
No.
He's okay. He's managed to salvage it nicely on the pink.
Fact is, Ken, he's phenomenal left-handed, but he's not as good left-handed as he is right.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, I think he sort of finds it more of a challenge for him, you know, and that's why.
16.
I mean, sometimes he's got to play left-handed rather than use the rest. Okay, that's no problem. But sometimes I think he just sort of finds it more of a challenge, even the simple shots playing left-handed, when he can easily use his right.
I well remember the first time he played a whole match left-handed. It was in the semi-final of the old Matchroom League against Peter Ebden, and of course no one had seen it before.
24.
And I don't think Ebden was best pleased.
Yeah, he beat him 6-0, didn't he?
It was a heavy defeat.
Yeah, once again, black left-handed, but for no apparent reason, that he just feels like it.
32.
Quite incredible. What a talent. This could go wrong. Yeah. It's not ideal. Okay, he's still got this red into the left center, but a bit more difficult than he would have liked. No problem. Great shot. And nicely on the black.
Of course, he's looking for his second title of the year
47.
here in the capital of Saudi Arabia. He won the Riyadh Season World Masters of Snooker towards the tail end of last season.
48.
Beating John Higgins, Judd Trump and ultimately Luca Brissell in the final.
$55. 56.
And by the way, if he were to lift this trophy, it would be his 80th professional title, Ken. Just the 80.
63.
Yeah, incredible. Quick glance at the score. So just needs this red.
64.
Very good. And of course, keeping the possibility of a century as well. He really is an amazing talent, entertainer,
69.
talisman for a wonderful sport.
70.
First time we've had a big crowd since we've been here, and they've come to see this man, and well, he's certainly delivering.
$76. 78. 81.
Roars of approval.
85.
I'll tell you what, there'll be a bigger roar if he manages to put these 3 balls and make a century.
90. 96.
Magical. And magnificent. O'Sullivan's repertoire never gets stale. He's a joy to watch, and he leads by 2 frames to 0. Over on table 2, the world champion, Karen Wilson, just returned from China where he won the Xi'an Grand Prix. He's taking on Chinese youngster Liu Hongyu, and Liu has won the first frame. On the left there, he must be a very proud man, and deservedly so. Dr. Nasser Al-Shamari, the head of the Saudi Arabia Billiards and Snooker Federation, and so instrumental in bringing the world's best here to the kingdom.
Yeah, done a great job. Been down to their headquarters, their academy here in Riyadh. Wonderful setup, beautiful facility. Lots of young players playing down there as well, Phil. Great to see. Good coaches, good tables. Yeah, nicely played from Li Paifan and sportingly acknowledged.
Again, though, recurring theme, as was twice the case in frame 2, even though he got away with it. O'Sullivan's safety leaves something to be desired.
Yeah, once again played that left-handed. Obviously didn't want to be knocking this red towards the corner pocket. Now, can he get on a colour? Well, he's got a pot of first and he's missed one in the previous frame that he should have got, and he's missed that one as well. He'd be so disappointed. Normally bread and butter for a lead play fan, but of course this is not normal circumstances. He's playing, well, the game's greatest player on TV in a huge tournament.
You know, this week we could see statistical milestones from John Higgins or Judd Trump. They're in the race to be the second player to make 1,000 centuries in professional competition. The first player, of course, to do it, Ronnie O'Sullivan, and the century we saw in the previous frame just happened to be his 1,269th and counting.
15. 16.
Always a confidence booster when you stroke those in, Ken.
Oh, he just looks like he's in the practice room at the moment. Just strolling around the table, stroking the cue ball very, very nicely indeed. Just another day at the office 31. For Ronnie O'Sullivan at the so far.
$32.
Lots of eager spectators watching O'Sullivan for the first time as he glides around the table, making the game look
37.
Effortless.
Thanks. 38.
Yeah, the apex red pots into the left center, and he may be able to disturb one or two reds when potting this.
46.
Just the one came out, but that's enough.
$53. 54.
Played high on the black, so off the cushion. Maybe into the reds once again. Trying to develop something. Oh, not the desired connection on the reds. Maybe touching ball.
61. Touching ball.
Yeah, touching ball called, so has to play away from the red, down behind the black, but end the break, but still nice 61 break.
Ronnie O'Sullivan 61.
And in control.
As he said in his interview with David Hendon, though, he won't be taking anything for granted. And of course, yesterday we saw a remarkable frame where Tepchara Nu made a 78 break and lost the frame.
Well, that's better. That'll make him feel good. Nicely on the pink, nicely on the yellow. I think there's a couple of reds, certainly the one left of the pink spot, but I think the red just under the pink spot pots into the right corner as well. Oh, he's hit this too hard. It's running on. He may be still able to pot the red, but it ran on a little bit further than he would have liked. It might not be a bad idea. If he can pot this red, try and bring the brown back into play, because he's going to need it if he's to have a chance of winning this frame. Can he knock the brown out? Still hold maybe for blue. Yes, he can.
4. Nine. Lay pay fun. 9.
Not the most telling safety shot. And neither was that. On the attack, he's looked good. Defensively, he's made 4 or 5 errors.
Yeah, and the errors have come from playing the safety shots left-handed, which is a lot more difficult. Trying to get that screw and side on the cue ball from distance, but Lee unable to take advantage. That was a poor miss. That was a wonderful chance.
If he gets through, he might need to tighten up tomorrow, and I'll tell you why. He will play the winner of Zhang Ganda or Ben Wollaston in the last 16, and Zhang Ganda leads 2-0 with breaks of 138 and 128.
Yeah, one of the most improved players over the last few seasons, Zhang Ganda. I think it was quite interesting listening to Ronnie O'Sullivan there talking about the intimidating factor and what the likes of Steve Davis had and Stephen Hendry had. Ronnie O'Sullivan definitely has that himself. He's held in such high regard from a lot of these younger players who've watched him, probably been an inspiration to these players, and when they come up against him, and particularly on the TV, completely intimidated. Not them all, but at the moment Lee Pai-Fan is, and it's understandable, but it's something that you have to get over very, very quickly when you're playing the likes of these top players if you're going to have a chance.
Foul.
It's actually unlucky there, really, to go in off, because it was a good attempt to get behind blue and green.
Yes, and as you can see on the replay, not a full pocket to go into either.
One.
O'Sullivan won't be feeling too anxious with a red very close to that right-hand side cushion, plus the juxtaposition of green and blue.
Well, a round of applause, but it was a poor shot. He's overhit the cue ball by some distance. He was hoping to hold for maybe brown or yellow there, but well, he may just be able to play a snooker here. Just roll up off maybe a side cushion, lay into the blue. He's going to play the blue direct. That's okay. He doesn't want to give too many points away here. He won't mind even if he hits the red here and leaves it on, because last thing he wants to do is give a lot of points away. Oh, what a shot. What a shot. And he's got it safe.
With blue and green now apart, though, I think Le Payfan would do well to get this red off the cushion. Yes, he does. And now it's a much more amenable table to make a clearance should he get the chance.
Yeah, and you noticed, Phil, he didn't play that safety shot left-handed, and look where the cue ball is finished. He knew it was so important to keep it tight. No insurance, of course, once that Le Payfan opened the pocket with blue and green there. One chance, it could be very crucial indeed. May have knocked this red over the corner pocket. Ooh, he's very lucky.
Yeah, the quality of the safety suddenly improved out of all proportion.
Ronnie O'Sullivan will be pleased that yellow's gone close to the ball cushion. That makes Le Payfan's job a lot harder should he get another chance. Lovely shot. That's better. Nicely held for the black. Has he got any sort of an angle on the black to get close to these two reds? So you see the red go in again. Beautifully held. It looked almost straight, this black, into the corner pocket. Let's see, he's got a slight angle. Oh, wanted to come in around the back of it. It's gone wrong.
8.
Chance missed.
A swathe of past matches tells us the one thing you've got to do against O'Sullivan is score. You can't beat him with bits and pieces.
Yeah, and as I said, apart from, you know, his scoring prowess, he's a tactical genius as well when it comes to snooker. Knows all the angles. Knows how to trap people and play quality safety shots. Not many better in the game in that department either. And he's forced a mistake once again. So one good pot, 34 points in the lead. One good pot and get on a colour, and it could be another frame in the bag. There it is. And he's going to be on the blue. So a good safety from O'Sullivan, forced the error from Lee Pai Fan. Oh, it's going to be another frame. The frames are gone pretty fast.
7.
That's the other thing about Ronnie O'Sullivan, Phil, that he very rarely lets frames become elongated or protracted. He keeps it as open as possible, and he can reel off frames so quickly, even in a best of 9. Lee Pai Fan, you know, he's already 3-0 down, and interval coming up after the next frame.
One of the lengthiest frames he ever played was in the decider England Republic of Ireland 1996 World Cup in Thailand. It was 55 minutes, and Ken beat him to give Ireland the victory and take them to the final, but they were beaten by the dream team from Scotland.
Yes, Phil, thanks for reminding me. Yeah. One of the few times I think I might have beaten O'Sullivan.
Well, there he had a miscue and he still potted the pink. That's how good he is. So breaks are 59, 103 and 61. So far, it's one-way traffic. Is Ronnie O'Sullivan going to begin the tournament with a whitewash? Well, he's 60% of the way there. He leads Lei Pei Fan by 3 frames to 0, and he's looking pretty good.
Lei Pei Fan to break.
I know we saw a comeback from 4-0 down this afternoon, but you have to think if Lei Pei Fan is going to have any chance, he has to win this frame.
And there's the tournament director, Emily Frazier from Matchroom. She's done a wonderful job already at this stage, and of course a 10-year deal, which is amazing, not only for the snooker but for the pool as well.
John Higgins badly needs to win tonight, otherwise his 30 years in the top 16 might be coming to an end. Well, it's not looking good at the moment. He trails 2-0 against Jimmy Robertson.
1.
Wow, that was beautifully cued indeed. Wow, don't know where he got a heavy contact there, but the cue ball never travelled where he would have liked.
Ken kicks are far rarer these days than they used to be, but O'Sullivan stuck with the traditional chalk, hasn't he?
Yeah, good point, Phil. He uses traditional triangle chalk, doesn't use the new tame chalk, which is, well, stops the kicks and bad bounces. Looks like he's back in prime position. I think the bottom red of the pack does pot.
11.
Yeah, perfect.
12. $19.
Nice angle, and now straight
20.
into the pack. He's got to miss the first red, the red directly above the black. He's got to miss that, just past that. Lots of screw. There you see it, and it brings that red back towards the pocket. Is he being unfortunate? Is he on a red?
27.
Maybe on this red, all the way up into the yellow pocket as we look.
$28.
Oh, lovely shot. Beautiful. Great shot to start the break. And that was another. Well, it's just majestic.
$35.
That
36.
always looked in, but it wasn't the cleanest pot. Hit a lot of jaw, that.
Yeah, but I just like the way he played off the other red, Phil.
43.
Knocked the other red towards that left centre pocket and used that angle off the cushion to get back on the black. It was beautifully played once again.
44.
Back up for blue this time. A little bit short of pace. This could go wrong here. Needs to slow up. Just about.
49. 50.
We've seen a few players overscrewing in the tournament. The cloth is very reactive. But O'Sullivan's powers of recovery
53.
never fail to amaze.
$54.
Just like a procession at the
61.
moment. He's got that cue ball dancing to his tune.
62. 69. 70.
That was the important ball. Now we can concentrate. Maybe getting another century here.
73.
You've seen in this break, one of the things that O'Sullivan likes to do when he's scoring, Ken, is
74.
tidy up a table. And he succeeded in doing that yet again.
Be interesting to see how he's going to tackle that last red that's on the cushion
79.
just above the right centre pocket.
80.
How's he going to bring that out into play and try and make yet another century added to that list, Phil, that you have? This will be played left-handed.
85. 86.
Well, this will be some shot, Phil. What's he going to do here?
$93.
Very disappointing. It must do better.
Very careless, wasn't it? Now calling all pockets here. Oh no, just playing a little safety shot.
93 and be framed.
This is pretty good from Ronnie O'Sullivan. What an introduction to the Saudi Arabia Snooker Masters. You can't get any better than being 4-0 up at the interval.
低杆的一库起来，是不是？对啊，这好拼啊！这杆球打的，不仅不防守啊，还攻腰。
We've got no monitor. Welcome back to Riyadh for the Saudi Arabia Snooker Masters, and we have been enjoying what can only be described as a Ronnie O'Sullivan masterclass on table one, quite frankly. Whether it's left-handed or right-handed, Ken Doherty, the man just keeps delivering no matter what the country, no matter what the tournament.
And it's like, you know, it's almost like he's playing here in the practice. He's just floating around the table. The balls are going in with the greatest of consummate ease, and he's making it look ridiculously easy. And it's just, it's amazing. He's just such a genius. Left-handed, as you say, right-handed. When he had to play the proper safety shots, it was always right-handed. You know, he experimented a few times with the left-handed ones. They went wrong, and he said, "Oh no, I'm not going to do that again. I'm going to play it right-handed." He played a couple of really good ones, and he won that third frame. But when he gets in amongst the ball, he just makes the game look so easy.
But part of the reason why he can experiment with his left hand is because his recovery with his right hand is filthy.
It's just ridiculous, isn't it? And how well does he hit the ball with his left hand as well, by the way? But yeah, you know, he's come out and said he's going to try it and play left-handed. We had a little giggle earlier about, you know, a couple of the seeds going out. Maybe tonight he'd put a proper concentrated performance in, but you know, he just expresses himself, and to witness him in person, to see it still happening, still flowing like it is, it's just an absolute pleasure.
And what's really interesting is he's one of the only players I can think of where it isn't necessarily about watching a guy win. You just want to watch him play in full flow. It's artistry.
It is artistry. There's no doubt about it. You know, and if you're a snooker lover, you know, and you see all the crowd, the faces, and watching it, looking at them all, they're just all mesmerised by him, you know, because he's just floating around the table. He's hitting the ball so sweetly, as I said, making it look so easy. And they're just in awe of actually being in his presence and watching him play live. And that's the great thing. And he's a showman, you know. He's our talisman, you know, for the game. But he's an entertainer, and he's certainly entertained the crowds. And they're just all delighted to be in his presence there, watching him.
And just a word for Lei Pei Fang. I mean, he's won 4 matches to get to this point, and he's been blown away.
Yeah, well, this is the level that he's at, you know. It would have been a dream come true. It probably still is a dream come true for him to be playing one of his idols, but the harsh reality of it is that Ronnie O'Sullivan is the best snooker player we've ever seen. He's the best snooker player that's ever played the game, and it was always going to be a tall task for Lei Pei Fan tonight, and he's getting the full force of Ronnie O'Sullivan this evening.
He is getting the full O'Sullivan treatment. Now, Lei Pei Fan is actually 101 in the world coming into this tournament. A number of other players are challenging to try and encroach on the top 16, and talking about the top 16, 8 of them are in action as well as Ronnie. And business has kind of resumed as per one would expect. So the seeds are leading in the majority of cases. Karen Wilson, by the way, the defending world champion, and by the way, won the last tournament that he was in over in China. Ding Junhui also leading. Luca Brissell is 1 apiece as things stand. And then if we avert our gaze to Jimmy Robertson and John Higgins, now that is a crucial one. We were thinking with regards to Jimmy Robertson and John Higgins, John's opportunity to potentially get 2 centuries and get past the 1,000th mark. But there's now a question mark over his position in the top 16.
Yeah, he's currently standing number 15. And I think if he loses tonight, that top 16 place could be in jeopardy for the first time, I think, in 29 years.
Unreal.
I mean, what a career he's had. And he's still a great player, he's still a top player. But he needs to win tonight. And that must be a lot of pressure for him as well, you know, to stay in the top 16, needing a good run here. And at the moment, it's Jimmy Robertson, who has him in trouble. He's 3-0 up.
I mean, 3-0 from Jimmy Robertson. Not many people would have called that. However, thank you very much. Thank you very much. But what I would say...
Oh, yes, I did.
Oh, that one little thing. If there's one person you don't want in your rearview mirror, maybe Mark Selby, maybe John Higgins. So the comeback isn't implausible by any stretch.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. You know, you're not in the top 16 for that length of time if you don't know how to win a game of snooker. And look, 3-0, we saw it earlier. Judd Trump was 4-0 down, came back to win 5-4. It wouldn't be a surprise to see Higgins turn that one around. I'd love to see it. You know, I'm a massive John Higgins fan. It pains me to think that he might be out of the top 16, but there we go. He's got a big task ahead.
Well, tonight, 3 members of the class of 92, including, obviously, one Ronnie O'Sullivan. And as well as being a snooker player, he's also been somewhat of a tourist here in Saudi Arabia.
Very special to come down to the Saudi Arabia FIFA World Cup exhibition bid. Yeah, I've had a fantastic tour. Blew my mind what they're planning to do or what they're going to do. And I think it's going to definitely be the best World Cup of all time. So I know the fans are going to love it. Yeah, obviously every World Cup's exciting, but for the fans to be able to experience it in a fantastic way, you know, that's what they're going to be able to do here in Saudi Arabia. It's a sort of quite a crazy statistic that 62% of the population are 30 or under, so it's a very, very young country. Obviously love their football. Team always seem to do pretty well qualifying for the World Cup. So, you know, obviously football is like the biggest sport in the world, but obviously with the boxing and the snooker and all the other sports that they're putting on in Saudi Arabia, you know, they're really like a powerhouse, you know, for what they're doing in the sporting world, you know. You know when Saudi get involved, they're going to do a proper job, you know. The resources, the infrastructure and all that, they're second to none. And, you know, my experience of coming to Saudi Arabia is the hospitality and the way they put on events, the way they, you know, all the players here come for this snooker tournament are blown away with how well looked after they are, you know. Everything's just first class, you know. So as far as putting on an event and making sure it runs smoothly, there's probably no one better, you know.
Ronnie very much enjoying himself here in Riyadh.
两库来兜。
从左边来解和从右边来解其实区别不大吧？
哎，直接碰到黑球了。
不是从底下往上搞了个
估计还得摆回
漏了一个球给他。
这个球不好打，宾汉姆不会打的。
差了挺多的。差了挺多的。
宾汉姆敢打吗？
对，我是说我97届的，没说我97年出生的，你们不要纠结。97年大学
我估计也
毕业的。
会摆回去吧。
好了吗？满意吗
？7。
嚯！
又没有说97年出生，有没有把握？没把握的话，你让丁俊晖来打。
Put it back， 别装啊！我就知道，虽然他装得很像，还是没有骗到我。
对，据这个英国的小伙伴说，他好像练球练得不多。
这个不对。
老师傅，你这个复位复的也确实太草率了。
15。
红球在这儿。这有啥恶心的？他有权利选择自己打出来的复位，对不对？这他权利是没什么问题。
宾汉姆
欢迎新来的朋友，没有订阅的点个订阅。
这裁判们这没有不是吧？看一下。
差不多，这个位置是对的。
23.
这个位置是对的。
Still a young man, and this is still a wonderful experience for him. You can take some positives away by getting a frame, and you never know, you might get another one. It will stand them in good stead going forward for sure.
31.
这是就是马蒂尔。
Other scores, Seizure Wee 3-1 up at the interval over Tom Ford. Tepchara Nu and Mark Williams locked together at 2-2.
36.
Pang Junzhu still 2-1 over Luca Brissell. Deng Junwei 2-1 over Stuart Bingham.
好，他只是说，就是宾汉姆的意思，就是我是你的，我帮助你啊，我不是来挑你刺的，我帮助你的复位。
41.
The black a little bit to the left. A bit to the left.
45.
27.
50.
28.
他那个母，他因为小力的话，大概是这个位置。
Frame 5 has been the showcase for Lei Pei Fan to show us all what he
因为
can
画线的时候
do.
对的这
O'Sullivan
个
in
母球
command
中间这个
still,
位置画
but
的，
Lei has a
画完
frame on
之
the
后
board.
这个线有点变化。哎，太对了。就是他贴的，你看没有？丁俊晖是贴的我这条线下来的，看到没有？所以解到这颗，解到这颗还好，至少至少别人是有进攻的机会啊。这个有右边顶带的机会，看一下，准，真的准啊！这个球。
37.
但也不太好连接啊。哇，第一杆那么大角度，能不能绕不过啊？我就说绕不过嘛。
Karen Wilson, 37.
所以我这个判断还是对的。 现在的分差是28分，台面35。推在黑球后边做一杆斯诺克啊！现在，非常的漂亮。 丁俊晖2个策略啊，一个是清洁，另外一颗呢就是要点运气啊。哎，加点力，要点运气，非常的不错，这个运气。没有坐上。哦，好像篮球又坐上了。这是直播的比赛，没错没错。低杆一库解到是容易啊，但是解到之后看这个效果，这需要运气。漏了。金就超分了啊，也可能是2-2平。碧汉姆世锦赛冠军，2015年，这个带口球不会打不进吧？会，不能，哎呀，我们笑的要斯文一点，没控制住，不好意思啊，向大家道歉。这第一杆直接来 C 到这里边来，好不好？顺便加点502胶水。没点订阅的朋友点一下订阅啊！他一库来勾了啊，这是一库来勾，坐上斯诺克了，好球啊！嘿嘿嘿，好，现在解到之后啊，最主要的是需要机会啊。嗯。摆回吧，摆回。对，今天下单那个球杆的，明天发货。你下单了球杆之后呢，你标注一下，需要换皮头的就换皮头。啊，中巴的也有啊，中巴的，我发一下链接给你。解到了，不影响。哇，可以做一个更死的啊，就放在咖啡球里边啊，附带一个502胶水，贴住。哎。中巴的这个火箭款的已经没什么了啊。中巴是吧？好，你稍等等啊，马上。现在的分差是24分。哇，这杆球还能塞进去吗？那空间有点小哎，空间有点小。这杆球没打好啊，这个球怎么弄到带口球来了？嗨，2015年的世锦赛冠军，这个带口球不会打不进吧？刚才打不进一颗，不会还打不进吧？终于打进了啊！但是打进没叫到彩球啊。分差25分，台面27。对，是顺风的啊。 车就在你发弹幕的右边的这个按钮啊，购物车的标志，点进去啊就可以选购，很多啊，很多款式。
Ronnie O'Sullivan would like to get down, if it's available, that red just left of the black into the left corner pocket. That would free up the black into both pockets. And straight away,
18.
he's down on it, looking anxiously at it, but I think he's okay. He's got enough of it to knock the black towards the right pocket.
19.
Nicely played.
对，到球房去现买也可以啊。这杆球我感觉咖啡球这个空间够啊，要不要这样来？就是对着这边来打，这黄球两库之后往下走，看他是不是这么选啊？不知道，我只是猜而已啊。没有，这个力度就不是这条线。 绿球来挡，可以可以。黑八的买哪种啊？黑八的我再推给你看看。好，我推的这个弹窗你点开就可以看得到。
33.
Just wriggled in off that left-hand jaw of the pocket. Oh, look at this for a shot. Have a look at this for a shot.
这俩人的防守质量是真的好啊。丁俊晖的选择。丁俊晖。母球向上还是向下？如果是向，这也是一条线路啊。他选择两库来走这个黑球的上方。哇，差一点点，坐上没有？我现在这个，大家觉得坐上没有 ？C 到里边去那才完美啊！好像能看得到，就差那么一丁点儿。那这位朋友不好意思啊，就是有朋友需要帮衬我们直播间，所以点了弹窗，影响了你的观看，向你道歉，感谢你的包容啊！ 打在5比0了是吧？4杆破百，哇，那个比赛的录像我一定要明天给大家放啊。
Yeah, it'll be tougher test to come for O'Sullivan, but
锁定我们的直播间。
in fine fettle, no doubt.
这杆球绿球不到位
，right-handed，
没办法连接到这个咖啡球啊，这杆球。 进不进攻
？Little shake of the head. He's such a perfectionist. He's a little bit straight on this black.
所以打进再说啊。
Having to take the
顺风对，就是顺风的。球杆的运送我们也不敢用其他快递。
60. 61.
这杆球它。
This is the conclusion.
$67. 68. 75. 76.
O'Sullivan is through. He will be playing Zhang Anda, who has produced an absolutely remarkable display this evening. A 128 break and 3 breaks of 138
81.
To win 5-0 against Ben Wollaston.
Well, it's a match to look forward to in the next round for Ronnie O'Sullivan against Zhang Anda, who has previously beaten on a couple of occasions, particularly last season, on the way to winning his maiden ranking title. So that's, yeah, one match to look forward to indeed, as indeed there will be many
90.
more. But a sublime performance from the genius Ronnie O'Sullivan.
You're right, Ken, though. Jack, not to be dismissed.
$104. 106.
Yet again, though, O'Sullivan's delivered.
Yeah, and just with the consummate ease that he goes about the breaks, just so entertaining, beautiful to watch.
$113.
Lee Paifan, though, he's had a good tournament. He'll be disappointed with how he played tonight, but he got a frame on the board and lots of positives for him going forward for the rest of the season.
124.
Ronnie O'Sullivan made a century in the second frame. In the last frame, he put together a total clearance. Total clearance, total class. The rocket is through without using the boosters. He wins by 5 frames to 1.
$32. Touch and ball. Lu Hanyu, 32.